Good morning and welcome to a very special interview show of The Pro. Today, it's my pleasure to have Air Vice Marshal Pranay Sir with us. Veteran Air Vice Marshal Pranay Sinha, VSM, and aeronautical engineer, has served IAF in various important field and staff appointments during his distinguished 35 years of career. As AVM, he held the prestigious post of Commandant of the Software Development Institute, Bangalore. Before his retirement, he served 3 years as the advisor of the Bharat Electronics Limited till September 2021. He is a postgraduate from IIT Kanpur and an alumnus of the Defense Service Staff College, Wellington, and is a recipient of the Presidential Award of Vishisht Seva Medal in Jan 2016. Sir, here he is with us to discuss the Indo-China relations and the Chinese aggression. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such important knowledge with us, and a very warm welcome to the program. So I would like to start off the discussion by knowing that lately there have been quite a debate around the fact that China is responsible for spreading the COVID-19 across the globe and also use the SARS-CoV-2 as a bioweapon. What are your thoughts on this?
Good morning, viewers, and it's a pleasure to be on your show, Prod. It's not at the outset, let me categorically and emphatically state that it's no more debate. It's an established fact that COVID-19 virus has been used as bioweapon by China. In fact, even our late CDS, General Bipin Rawat, had made the statement to this effect. By the way, in the lighter vein, let me tell you that on 27th August 20, in a program of Shodh for BHU Varanasi, I had compared this virus as a bioweapon and had remarked that bioweapon program of China that had gone awry. But now more reputed and responsible personalities have claimed it. In fact, the whole Pandora box opened with an article of Nicholas Wade in Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. And he is an ex-journalist of a very prestigious science journal, Nature. And till then, the murmur was as that this is a conspirational theory only. It also gained much credibility after Dr. Francis Boyle, a law professor of Illinois University, who has drafted the US Biological Weapon Anti-Terrorism Act, admitted this fact. But then million-dollar question arises that if the world knows that China has perpetuated this virus on the world, why they are not penalizing it? Why the world body is not going to behind China and penalizing them? So please understand that in this game, America and many EU countries are entangled. They all have been entangled in this great game. So let us understand what is the game? What was the game? You must have heard about Dr. Anthony Fauci. Now, he is a very expert virologist and advisor on the diseases to the president of US, since he is from the time of Trump. And today also he is there. And when he was a director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, NIAID, he had authorized $1 million of fund for a project gain of function on severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2. After this, he was convinced by his friend British geologist Peter Daszak that if we go for gain of function on this virus, then this virus can be made more virulent, more deadly, more dangerous, and more infectious. Transmissibility will increase. so that before it spill over to an intermediary animal from where it jumps to human, it would be detected. That means, understand, bat virus doesn't, this coronavirus comes from bat and doesn't
Yes.
directly infect human. It first goes to intermediary animal, and from there it mutate, and then it becomes stronger, and then it spill over or jumps to the human after long mutation in an intermediary animal. So this is the important, and the techniques used for gain of function like genetic engineering, reverse transcript, infectious clone technology, so they can learn in this. The whole idea was to go ahead in time and predict actual occurrence of pandemic. This is a noble cause, but and much vaccine makers and drug makers, everybody invested heavily. In fact, investors like Bill Gates and ilks, there was a big commercial interest behind this. Of course, we'll not go into that apart, but remember this SARS, how they have learned this, it is happening in 2002. Again from Wuhan virus, SARS-1 had erupted, and this was through the intermediary of civet cats. These are eaten by the Chinese, and again from the Wuhan wet market. Similarly, after almost 9-10 years, in 2012, from Middle East, there was a virus, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS virus, and it jumped from bat to camel. So they were expecting within next 9-10 years, there will be another spillover from bat. This all things are hypothetical, and but they wanted to develop vaccine. They were sure that it will happen one day, and we can detect and we can sell vaccine and can make money. So this was the whole idea. Remember, in 1920, the Spanish flu also originated from China. So the China is always giving us good viruses, okay, that affect the whole world.
Yes.
So now coming to the whole story of Peter Daszak, what he was the contractor of Eco Health Alliance that was funded by the NIAID, which works under US controlled National Institute of Health. So you see the linkage. US government is involved in this. And then they subcontracted to Dr. Xi Jing Li. She is the famous bat lady. Now she is famous as a bat lady, along with Dr. Raf Barik, to work in Wuhan Institute of Virology. There they wanted to do this experiment because this was biosafety level 4 standard. It's safety wise, it was okay. Another question: why US want to invest in China? Why not it do the whole experiment in US? So the answer is that because during President Obama time, there was a moratorium was sanctioned on this type of dangerous gain of function experiments. So US said, Nana, we will not carry out because anytime any accident can take place, better to do in some other country. And
Yes.
China was very much eager, and Dr. Xi Jingli, the bat lady, took to Wuhan lab. Only condition was that the lab should be bio level 4 standard. Okay. So there she is created this chimeric SARS-2 virus. Actually, one of the strand which infected the world, it was known as RATG13. This was developed, and she probably was experimenting in vitro. In vitro means in the test tube, and also in vivo, that is in a humanized mice. And now the sinister layer. Understand this. Dr. Xi worked in collaboration with Colonel Chao Wuchus of PLO. That means the PLA had in the same lab, they had their department, their offices also. Who is Chinese? Dr. Colonel Chao Wuchus is Chinese government advisor on bioterrorism. In fact, Colonel Chao, an epidemiologist himself, studied at Cambridge University, US, and sits on the Wuhan Institute of Virology as an advisory capacity in advisory board. and is second in command of military team under Major General Shea Wei, country's topmost bio-defense expert. Now, so this is the PLA connection at Wuhan lab. And it was in this lab where scientists were working. In fact, when this leak happened, I'm quoting Dr. David Asher, an US CBRN expert,
Yes.
chemical biological radiology nuclear expert of Hudson Institute, who himself stated, who carried out US State Department inquiries into the origin of COVID-19, stated this, that Chinese have made it clear they will use biotechnology as part of future hybrid warfare. And Bill Gertz of Washington Times, in a report dated 14th May 20, said that China is working on synthetic biology. That means they will create the viruses, weaponized viruses, which will affect a particular group of people, ethnic. You know, in the China, lakhs people are in their camp, the camp of Uyghur camp, so
Yes.
they can use wherever they want. So this is the whole game. So what I was saying is that the leak happened accidentally in Wuhan lab.
True. Sir, since you mentioned that the accidental leak of virus, then why is China to be blamed to use it as a bioweapon? And Galwan, why Galwan? What is achieved from this?
Okay, this is a good question. Let me explain to you all viewers the entire story in the chronological order. Xi Jinping, he is the son of heaven. He is very much influenced, this president is very much influenced by Confucius, Sun Tzu, and by Zhao Tingyang, who has propounded a philosophy of Tianxia. As per this philosophy, the China is to be center of world under the heaven and should develop a political system for the new world with a global institution in place to ensure universal order. This is the theory, that China should be in a unipolar world, should control all the world activities and do the trade, and should be the main boss. And this dream, by the way, is being realized instantly by their well-known BRI, Belt and Road Initiative projects. Many African countries, it has reached up to Latin America, South America. So this is their main game was. And then this anointed core navigator helmsman, इसको ये उपाधि दी है, whom Xi Jinping को, as a देश का सर्वश्रेष्ठ कर्णधार, he is invoking Han nationalism and also revoking the Chinese past, glorious past, to rejuvenate the Chinese nation. As per Confucius' dictum, he had amassed all the powers with him. He is the head of party, he is the head of country as the president, and he is the head of military as the chairman. And he wants to go much beyond what Mao Zedong had achieved. He wants to surpass him. And Mao had something called unfinished expansionist agenda. That means they had lost some territories as per Chinese, and those territories should be gained back, should be claimed back. Tibet with its 5 fingers, and Taiwan, and these countries, and they should be integrated with mainland China. And what was the design? The design was that during grand centenary celebration of CPC that was held in July 21, his desire was to declare China, a very powerful, great, benevolent benefactor, socialist nation with Chinese characteristics. So, Xi Jinping and CPC and PLA, they had planned to release this re-engineered SARS-2 virus somewhere in November, somewhere in Jan 20 end or February 20 end. That was their plan. But what happened? Accidentally it leaked out much before their date of release. Picture palace aa gayi. And this came much before, that means in November only. So they had this script, and this script was now rushed, and they moved in a fast forward way. Problem arose that they had planned to take out vaccine of this virus, and they wanted to distribute to the world by June, July. But because of leak, these people were not able, their pharmaceutical giants and their labs were not able to do the genome sequencing of the actual CoV-2 virus. So they used the template of the old one. पुराने की copy बना के vaccine बना दिया of SARS-1. And what happened then? You know, all this Chinese vaccine have failed miserably.
Correct.
They were used in UAE, they were used everywhere, and sabne bola it has got no efficacy, no effectiveness, nothing. It flopped. And who helped? India helped in their Matri vaccine program. So we became the benefactor. Anyway, so that is now the second part of the whole game was that when this will be released or when this will impact the world, then the military will also get affected, right? And that is the time they can go for their expansionist agenda. That means, of course, they can't take the whole Arunachal Pradesh, or they can't take the whole the five fingers, that is Arunachal Pradesh, Ladakh, or Sikkim, or Bhutan and Nepal. They all are state by itself, sovereign state. But what they can do, at least they can nibble. They can do salami slicing, and then they can project, अच्छा हमने तो इतना ले लिया हमारा land. So this was, and that's why they fooled India. They were exercising somewhere in Tibet, and then they marched to the Galwan. And then there was this spirited colonel of the PLA who, in his Josh, came and did what happened in Galwan. But then it galvanized the Indian army. And of course, we woke up from slumber. But then our response was firm and resolute. You know what happened?
Yes, yes.
Chinese were surprised. They never expected this great Galvan slap back. Hum jhapda maar denge unko. And they had more than 40 to 60 people they lost. They also got surprised by our quick military mobilization, and that too in a mirrored deployment. That means जैसा उन्होंने किया था वैसा हमने लेके we also brought 50 to 60,000 mechanized forces, special forces, rotary wing, helicopters, everything. They were afraid. And the third thing why they were very much afraid, and they said कि यार ये military is very superb military because of our outmaneuvering in the Kailash range. We took that 6-7 heights of the Kailash range. Now the Chinese were very fearful, and that's why they came to the negotiating table, and of course did something where we again trusted this distrustful, treacherous people. Okay, and they are deceit, deception, use diversion tactics is in their genetics. Sunzuke, they are the followers. So they will do that way. They are hardwired that way. So that is not a, that we have to understand. And please remember, we are the best. Our forces have experience of combat at those DG heights. We had Siachen, we had Kargil, Tololing, Tiger Hill, Jubar Hills. We have experience, combat experience in that Himalayan terrain, in that weather. China had never fought a war. 42 years ago. Vietnam also they fought in 79, and then they also get their Japad mila unko. And so they are very of kinetic contact war, no experience. And especially they are much wary because of body bags, because of one child policy soldiers in the PLA. So this is their problem.
Oh. Sir, recently China released a video where they hoisted the national flag at the Galwan Valley. There are also articles being circulated that states that the People's Liberation Army offers of the Northern Command Theatre offers stones of the Galwan Valley to the citizens through a lucky draw. What is the truth behind these articles and these videos? Can you please clarify and what are your thoughts on it?
On 1st of Jan 2022, they distributed sweets, exchanged sweets with our people. And second day, they released this picture and this video dancing in somewhere in the Galvan, and with a message that not losing an inch of national territory. So please understand, China is fighting what we say gray zone warfare. It's already have launched. This you have to understand. Hybrid warfare. It is not just I've told na कि they are very wary of kinetic लड़ेंगे नहीं, but indirect warfare. I have coined this 4 C's through which they have doing this hybrid warfare. They have launched this. Understand that. First is Corona. That means already biological warfare. Already they have launched.
Yes.
Cyber. This is another warfare which they are very good at it. And they had experimented it. If you remember in somewhere in October 20, that Bombay thing happened. Bombay's electrical grid had outage. So this happened. And then the main thing is commercial war, which already is going on. So it's a topic of, it's another big discussion. And the 4th C is important, is composite propaganda as per their doctrine. See, Chinese had made, has written, had developed 3 doctrines of warfare in 2003. And it's very interesting to know these are psychological warfare, media warfare, and legal warfare. Now, psychological and the media warfare is the what is being aimed at gullible people's mind space. They affect the mind space. They put some news which is fake, but try to create a narrative out of that. Manipulative narrative. This is the whole story. So in this case also, this was one of this propaganda warfare, one of the elements. Within 2 days, our media and our people found out that it is much, much beyond the actual demilitarized zone. It is much inside somewhere in the Galvan Valley, which is, of course, within their side. And the people who were there were not PLA soldiers. They were hired heroes. And in fact, their people only reported in their Weibo, and then they are behind the bar who reported this. So this is what the narrative. But then our people in India also, there were people who took this bait. They started questioning the government. Oh, they have come again. So this is what the Chinese do. They will find some pliant people. They will bribe some people, media, print, others to make a narrative. You must be knowing the whole New York Times is run by this Chinese on Chinese budget. We
Yes.
have got here our paper. You can see the way one very reputed Hindu paper reports or wire. You can see these people. Their narrative is the way you do it.
Correct.
They are communist funded. They are communist ideology leftist. Even not funded, they maybe that is the way they go ahead. So these media are there, and we are democratic. So let it be. What people have to understand that they should not fall for such people. In fact, not only Babus, some military ex people are also painting such narratives which questions the government. So this is what China wants to achieve. But more dangerous is the legal warfare. Recently, they have devised, or they have almost they have not they have already launched this law that is called border law, and similarly they had coastal defense law, where the Senkaku Island, that is in the East China Sea, they're frustrating Japan with that. And similarly, this border law is now employed. It's a legalized, and it has become a law. And as per that law, it is another matter. It's a big matter of another talk show. But what I am telling you, they make the law and then wait, and then they will claim that this land is our sovereign. It's like to make you understand in a very easy way. It's like in Bombay or in any other places, government land is taken by the mafia, land mafia.
Okay.
They build some slum. They ask slum dwellers to go and stay there. They take money from them, and after 8, 9, 10 years, they will be issuing the ration card and then Aadhaar card, and then they will show that these people are the genuine people, and then they will take the land by them. So this is what the China does through salami slicing. They will they are making people to come near Arunachal border, stay there. They are making people to inhabit at those villages. And then after some time, they will say, oh, this is our land, this is our cultural land, we do agriculture here, this and that. In the opinion of the world, they will become it will become a legal matter. And then the law will say, no, no, this is the China's land, okay, you give it to China. This is what the whole game is, the legal way of doing a process.
Correct, sir. Coming to the maritime security challenges, how do you see Chinese aggression in the South China Sea, and how will it impact India? Also, sir, how will it impact the global trade?
First of all, you have to understand the MDA, Maritime Domain Awareness. You should get it. We have got this Indian Ocean named by India. No world has this ocean of their own. We have Indian Ocean, and we ruled it waves
Yes.
and from the ancient times. Lothal, Dholavira, Moses, Arikamedu, these were the ancient ports, and we traded 1,000 years ago. Our trade used to be from Rome to Cambodia, from Egypt to Indonesia. And you see the geography of Indian Ocean. It's surrounded by 4 continents. In east, in west, you have got Africa. In the north and the east, you have got Asia covering. Then southeast, you have got Australia, and below in the southernmost, you have got Antarctica. So entering and exit of this Indian Ocean is there. It has through the limited passes. There is a narrow channels, or for example, Suez Canal is there if you want to come from the west, or you have to go all the way around Africa, Cape of Good Hope, and then you have to enter there. Similarly, if you are coming from east, from the Pacific Ocean from the east, then you have to cross 3 important channels of Indonesia, that is Malacca, Sunda, and Lombok,
Yes.
or you have to go all the way around Australia and come. Compared to us, the China's maritime geography is very, very restricted. It has huge coastline, but for their ports to reach, they have to have cross South China Sea or East China Sea. And South China Sea, East China Sea, again, they are very restricted and sea lane of communication. And this can be choked by any nation, adjacent nation. For example, in East China Sea, Japan and South Korea is there. And for South China Sea, Philippines, Vietnam, Taiwan, they are sitting there. And that's why China wants to create bases there so that they can control the sea lane of communication. That's why the Spratly Island, it has put a claim for this island because China wants to make a base there. Again, it is contested. This contestation will be there. Similarly, Senkaku Island in the East China Sea, which is frustrating Japan. China is aware that its trade can be carried out uninterruptedly. And you remember, 80% of China's energy passes through the sea lane of communication of Indian Oceans and through Indo-Pacific region. Similarly, 90% trade goes from here. So what China is ensuring for future that, and China knows that if it wants to be a super economical power, it has to be super maritime power so that this lane of communication is open for and it can do the trade with the world at its own terms and whims and fancy. This is what China wants. And China is trying to ensure that no country around this sea lane of communication, should interrupt their trade. And that's why they know that India is a big power, it can do. So to pin down, our attention should not come to maritime domain. So they are trying to pin down, again, this diversion tactics at Ladakh. Actually, the aim is somewhere in maritime domain, but they are attacking they are making incursion at Ladakh so that our focus is diverted there. And they succeeded. Our focus, our funding goes more on the land oriented, not on the sea side, not on the maritime, not on the navy. So this is the big, but one thing you have to understand very categorically, China again has, if it think that by launching number of ships, it can control this, it's not possible. It has to wage a naval warfare. And for that, it requires a lot of bases in this area.
Correct.
3,000, 4,000 kilometers away from the mainland, it requires bases. And China is doing that. In fact, I will just tell you, China has met the bases at Jusk in Iran, Djibouti, Africa, Gwadar, Pakistan, Hambantota, Sri Lanka, Kayak Phu, Myanmar, and Sihanouk Village in Cambodia. All around, it is trying to encircle. But again, except Karachi or maybe in Gwadar they can. These are only ports. What for naval campaign, for naval warfare, they require bases which can support maintenance and armament support that can be given. So China hasn't got any capability here. It is developing, but it is trying to show project that it is a big power, fear psychosis, all this drama, propaganda war. This is what the propaganda war is doing. They are not 10 feet, they are only 4 feet tall. So this we have to understand. And China knows that a navy that commands the sea will have command over the trade and then only can become super economical power. But it is China's assumption that India may intervene sometime. So let us sort out India. So that's why all this drama China is trying to do, but it is only drama.
Things are very clear, sir, now. This brings me to my last question. How can India and China work towards establishing peace in the region? And what is the way forward for both the countries?
Way forward has to be asked to Chinese only because they only came. We never invited uninvited people. See, now China is in a fixed spot. In Chinese culture, there is another when there is a very important thing called Mianzi, this face saving. They can't go back after this Galwan crisis. They can't go back khali haath. They want something to show their people. And that's why, again, coming to your question, that the drama, that narrative they are building, what they are doing is, you said, and I skipped that answer, now I am answering, that they are trying to sell Galvan rocks.
Yes.
They are auctioning online.
Yes.
कि ये हमारे वीर यहाँ पर मरे हैं, इसकी मट्टी ले लो टाइप, ठीक है?
Yes,
The
yes.
Galvan rocks. Then they are trying to make martyrs memorial of Galvan. Now they don't know what they fought. We had Colonel Santosh Babu Mahavir Chakra, and without government of India, the people of India itself have made him a hero. See, we make ourselves. You see the Uri picture. Government of India has not met, but that is the nationalistic fervor. So China is saying, "Yeah, they go." Air Force, we have our hero, exemplary of courage and full of heroism, Flying Officer Nirmaljit Sekho of 1971 war, Paramveer Chakra. We have Mahavir Chakra Captain Mullah, Mahendranath Mullah, who went with the ship Kukri, INS Kukri. So we have our icon hero. We don't have to see. We have Paramveer Chakra, living legend, Bana, Captain Bana, Paramveer Chakra Vijeta. So all these people, we don't have to create. We have. It's a
Correct.
reality. They have to make the icon. Okay, we have Shivaji and Rani Lakshmi Bai. They don't have such icons. They have Mao Zedong. They have Deng Xiaoping. And no, so they can't match. They are trying to match through this false narrative, but false narrative will not have not long sustenance survival rate. It will fall flat. Now, going what? It's a big debate by itself. But in short, since this is a hybrid warfare, we have to tackle at various level this war. It is not that a goli khaya and the fever is out. No, it's long drawn process, especially with China. And this all strategic thinkers have said this. But What should be our way? A, offensive mindset. We have to be very, very offensive in our outlook, not only militarily, but as a country, as a nation.
Yes.
We should not give them any iota of leverage to these people.
Yes.
We should be wary of their treacherous or deceit, deception, mistrust. We should be wary of that. We should always be careful. Jahan peet humne idhar kiya, they will stab us at the back. So this has to be seen. So Chanakya Niti, Sam, Dam, Danda, Bhed. For this, during one of my talk, I had coined a word for, while talking Lord Krishna, Niti, I had coined for this 4 P's.
Oh.
Psalm, that is pleading. Plead means
Yes.
negotiation. So negotiation is going on. The military is carrying on the negotiation. Tomorrow again, there will be negotiation. Nothing is going to come out, but we should negotiate. We should keep talking to them. It is good. And then Sam, Dam. Dam is the price. That means we have to bribe or some high cost we have to pay to win the favor. That means, and this is what China is intending. It wants some incentiveness to go back, that you increase the trade or you do the trade and I will do the salami slicing, go. Something they want. They are not very clear. They will not be clear. We have to keep guessing and keep judging. In fact, our trade has gone up. By the way, in 2021, it's almost $100 billion trade has gone up. And in 2021, it's almost 30% jump from the pre-pandemic. In this pandemic era, the trade has gone up. Means we have exported more from China.
Yes.
Basically, because of, again, courtesy Corona, ventilator, concentrators, oxygen concentrators, medical supplies, all we took from them only. So it is like we are telling China ki dard diya hai to dawa bhi tu hi de, something like that.
Correct.
But the fact remains, the whole world is entangled as far as the supply chain management is concerned with China. The decoupling is very, very difficult. We are doing it. We have been woken up by this rude fact that though we are the pharmaceutical lab, but all the APIs come from China. So we are trying, but decoupling will take time. Atmanirbhar is the only answer. We are doing it. So this is what China is looking. Some incentivization ki tum humse ye kar lo, wo kar lo. They are not telling us, but we are trying to understand all this negotiation going on backdoor. We are trying to understand. Sam, Dam, Dand. This is very important. Dand is किसी को डराना, power projection. And we are doing it. We are doing capability build-up. And this is what we have to keep doing it. But to match China it will take time. 14 trillion GDP, China. We are today 3.1 trillion. Gap is far and wide. So, but we should remember as a nation that China is fearful of India. It's not the other way.
Yes.
And that has to be, that offensive mindset, that confidence, conviction has to be there in each and every citizen that we are the best. That should never and threaten them. We as a country never want any alliances. We don't have military alliances with any country. From the very beginning, we are non-aligned country. This is our philosophy. So let it be. But then we have to build balancing coalition with our people, neighboring countries, and it is happening. See, because of China's BRI and debt trap policy, all this country now, Sri Lanka, Hambantota, now they are asking China to do the restructuring of the debt loan, and they are also coming to India. See, all these countries, chota countries, Vietnam, Philippines, they do bargaining with both. थोड़ा चाइना से भी ले लेते हैं, थोड़ा सा इंडिया से भी लेते हैं, but that's okay.
Yes.
That's the game, and that's the game. That's the real politics.
Correct.
But we should use it. We should use it. Our Raksha Mantri was there in Philippines. He visited Vietnam to sell BrahMos to be used against Big Brother in case time comes. So we are doing it. The power projection should go on. Our diplomats should take on this. We have to talk to UAE, Saudis, Iran, everyone, and take them on. And this is not a simple thing. It is not a one-day affair. It takes time. It requires some policy change at national level. If you want to talk to it, it may modify your domestic policies also. This talk. So we have to do it. It's a long drawn process. We have to be very, very careful, build up Atmanirbhar Bharat. And the last thing is Bhed. Bhed is that to create a fissure, differences. It is, I have the fourth piece, the penalizing. Either you penalize their party, their government through differences, divide, disrupt their cadre, create all those things which China is doing. We'll not discuss much more on this, but these are the ways which we can go ahead and do this to that country which has got no morality, no commitment. So we should not feel afraid, and we should go ahead and use all this for statecraft which has been propounded by great Kautilya Chanakya. Sham, Dam, Dandaved, use it.
Yes, sir, we'll
That's all.
definitely keep in mind. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir, for
Thank you.
sharing your intellectual thoughts with us. Your immense work and knowledge are a true motivation for us. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Jai Hind.